I wanted to talk about apparently local game stores are holding on to the fucking promotional cards that they're supposed to be giving away at FNMs. This is not new. This has pretty much been going on for a while now. Whenever a local game store is given any card with any substantial value, doesn't have to be that much, it could just be a few dollars. It is more beneficial for them to go online, TCG Player, eBay, wherever they sell their shit, and just make a profit off of it. I mean, they get these to give away to the players. They're basically player rewards for attending FNM. But we know there are a ton of scumbags who run their own game stores and they hold on to this shit just so they can make a profit. I understand, there's not a huge profit when it comes to owning your own game store. You pretty much live off of your community, your ability to run a good FNM, any good tournaments at all. It pretty much attracts people who want to come to your store, and that pretty much dictates whether or not you're going to succeed as a game store. How much do people want to come? How much do people want to spend? Everything. Do they like you? Do they like, the things that you do? Do they like the products that you sell? Again, there's a lot of game stores that don't sell enough products because they're not willing to. But again, this is, a small part of why they hold on to a lot of their promos they're supposed to be giving away at FNM is because they either cannot afford to keep their stores open because they don't make that much money being a game store. There's very few game stores that are actually good at doing what they do. A lot of the ones that failed, there's a reason why. It's because they either don't listen to feedback from a lot of their players or a lot of their customers, and that's a big reason why they fail. And another reason why is because they just don't know shit about anything. They're unwilling to admit that they're dumb when it comes to, oh, what is Magic doing now? Oh, I don't know because I don't play. I'm just the game store. I just sell the shit. I don't know what Wizards is doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the good decks are. I don't know what people like playing. Let's run a whole bunch of standard events, even though in our community, a whole bunch of people like playing Commander or Modern or Legacy, We don't like playing standard anymore. We just want to play Commander. Run more fucking Commander events. Run Commander FNMs. Those are becoming increasingly more popular because Commander as a format is becoming increasingly more popular. They release the fucking decks every single year now. You think that LGSs would become a little bit wiser. They would say, hey, there's a pretty good opportunity to sell a lot of decks now. Let's try to sell as many of these precons as we can and run events for Commander, encouraging people to then buy more of the decks. That's how it works. When you have new players and they see, oh look, a lot of people are playing a new game now. Even though Commander isn't that new, it's been out for like 6 years now. As far as the branded, version of the format, Commander, Wizards, all that shit. You could go on and on and on about how it's changed since it was originally EDH, which I think it's changed for the better, but again, some people differentiate on that. But overall, there's a huge opportunity when it comes to Commander and even Pauper. I would say there's an increasing interest in Pauper as well as Commander. But again, LGSs are quite selfish when it comes to the way they run things. It's either their way or the highway. Some LGSs, they understand. They're willing to listen to player feedback, all that shit. But you, of course, have the ones that are just willing to do the same thing over and over again just because it's easy. Hey, let's run a standard event because we get the current sets and it's easier for us to do a standard event because we already do pre-release. So it's not that hard to find people that are playing standard as well if you have the same people that come to pre-release. Which I can understand. There are still a lot of people who like playing standard. It's the current set. It's a challenge to constantly try to make better decks with the newest cards that come out. I understand. But Commander is increasing more so in popularity than standard is. I think, however much you grow in standard, Commander is growing so much more quicker. But yet you see so many LGSs that are willing to stick with the old ways, just so, they have some consistency. They don't have to try hard. I understand it's easy for them to do that. But when you understand that there's a way to make more money, and you choose not to do so, instead you choose to be a scumbag and just sell a bunch of your fucking promos, that's terrible. You should just you should understand your current market, how you can profit from decisions that you should be making. There's a lot of game stores that already run a whole bunch of Commander F&Ms. They run a whole bunch of Commander events, even aside from F&M. But yeah, you see so many LGSs that are stubborn, say, oh, we're only doing standard and modern because we've been doing that forever now, and we're just going to keep doing that. Sorry to tell you, but you're going to fail. If you are strictly a game store and your main source of income is, how much Magic cards you sell, sorry to tell you, but eventually you're not going to see much profit if you're continuing to stick with standard and even modern. I think the amount of modern players are even going down too, but still, standard and Commander are pretty much the two cash cows for Wizards right now as far as the formats go. So again, you would think that more LGSs would, get a hint here that, hey, we should be trying to sell more Commander products and trying to advertise more Commander events. They choose not to because it's easier for them. A lot of LGS owners are lazy as hell, and they just don't want to do it. So anyway, back onto the promo cards. People are now starting to see a whole bunch of the lands from Amonkhet pre-release, or just, I think the promos there were supposed to be the Battle for Zendikar lands, the ones that come into play tapped unless you have like 2 or more basic lands. They're decent if you have fetch lands and you don't have either the original dual lands or the shock lands, because they're rather expensive. I can understand that. These are decent substitutes. They're not great, but they're decent. And apparently, we've been seeing a lot of these on TCG Player. You go to other vendors, you even look on eBay, and you can definitely see a whole bunch of these being sold in bulk. Why? Because you have a bunch of assholes that, they're too lazy to put in effort to other formats and other tournaments, so they're desperate to the point where they have to sell a lot of their promo cards instead of giving them away, encouraging their players to come back. Again, it's not strictly because these people are assholes, it's more so because they're idiots. Hey, yeah, you're not making money off of giving away these promos, but guess what? You're making your place more inviting, more appealing to players that like going to F&M or just started going to F&M. If I go to F&M and all I get is like a couple shitty packs from like Fate Reforged, I'm not going to come back. Why? Because that's terrible. I just wasted my time. If I better had a lot of good games, or else I'm going to just probably never go back to that game store ever again if all I get is a bunch of shitty packs instead of getting a decent promo that might actually hold some value. Which is on to another topic. Why? We get promos, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're like Path to Exile, and sometimes they're just absolute shit. You don't understand why they're doing that. Kind of like the buy a box promos, which aren't always bad, but for the most part, they're kind of bad. This is a big reason why we see LGSs holding on to their promos. Because occasionally Wizards, they will come out with some good ones, and they're automatically worth more than the original versions because they're the promos. Like, I can already see it now with Aether Hub, with what's the other one? There's a whole bunch of cool shit that they're doing a lot of good ones. There's the red black artifact destruction thing it's a creature removal card that when you remove a creature, then it deals 3 damage if you control an artifact. That's a really good reprint because it's likely going to see play even beyond standard. Cards that are going to see play beyond standard typically are worth more as promo cards for F&M. And any LGS owner with any brains, they know, hey, this is going to be worth something. I might as well just, hoard them, hold on to them, instead of giving them away like I should. And they tend to make a decent amount of money if they have these in bulk. Again, you have larger F&M or larger LGSs that are doing this, and they're making a profit. I'm not necessarily certain how new of a problem this is, but I could definitely see how it could be a newer problem, because we have had many F&M promos for the past couple years that were shit, with the exception of Path to Exile. It's just now we're getting like a string of pretty decent, not so bad promos that might be actually worth a few dollars each. I know the Aether Hub promo is definitely going to be highly sought after, and it might actually be worth maybe $10. I think the normal version's worth a couple dollars now. It's still something that's sought after. Believe it or not, the LGS that I currently go to, I was able to pretty much sell a whole bunch of mine and get decent value for it. But that was when I was just selling a whole bunch of shit from my binders and I didn't really care. But anyway, that's just my opinion of the promos and shit that the LGSs are doing. Some scumbags indeed, but some are just stupid. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Anyway, if you like my video, please subscribe. Definitely want to continue. Thank you.